Hi everybody, I'm good to go and I hope you guys are too, because today we're gonna... Wait a second. I'm not good to go! Yeah, that's right, I changed my name to the Pumpkinator. In the middle of a series too. Why? Because I wanted to. So I hope you guys like the new name. And if not, sorry dog, don't know what to tell you. Now, where was I? Okay, there we go. Because today we're finishing the story of Oz, Kingdom of the Lost. And if you haven't seen part 2, click up here so you can check it out. Or it's going to be on like the side somewhere. I don't know. You're your own person. But if you are up to date, then let's just get into it. So let's dive into the finale of Oz, Kingdom of the Lost. The issue starts with the Patchwork Girl's voiceover, and she says, "Have you ever stopped to think about how crazy and unpredictable life can be? Take mine, for example. A simple girl leading a simple life, just like you, Dorothy. Sure, I dabbled in the arts, but it was innocent. Still, they called me a witch and cast me into the sea. But I was saved by an unseen hand, transformed into something magical, and brought to Oz. But again, they considered me a threat, and imprisoned me because they were afraid. And again, a divine force freed me, and I returned to Earth empowered and rejuvenated, ready to mold the world into my image. And then you arrived, Dorothy, and took my freedom away. I thought I had died until I woke again in a plane in Oz, where mercenaries enslaved me. You had killed their warlord, so they took his place. But I was able to escape. I had hoped to finally find peace, but instead I found the Shaggy Man. He tried to contain me, use my power, but I escaped him and came here. And here you are again!" As we see her grabbing Dorothy. She says she's not as helpless as she was on Earth, because now she has some friends. Patchy says she knows that they've all been talking to the Shaggy Man because she can smell him off him. She then wonders what she's going to do with them. But Nick doesn't feel like waiting because he breaks free and freaking rushes this bitch. He jumps in the air and is about to cut off her head, but he gets stopped by the felt lions, or tigers, jaguars, and they pin him down to the ground. Patchy says she guesses she can never live in peace as long as her slaves are around, but Dorothy says that they're not her slaves. Patchy says, "Really, Dorothy? Then how did I know that he sent you? And why does the Tin Man have one of the controlling devices on his neck?" And they're like, "Well, shit, bro, we didn't know." But that does make sense. Thorn explains that he was kidnapped by the Shaggy Man, and that's why he's being weird. But the rest of them haven't been touched. And Patchy's like, "Why should I trust you? He did send you down here, didn't he?" Dorothy's like, "Yeah, but he said we had to take down something dangerous. We didn't know it was you." Patchy says, "Okay, maybe you're telling the truth. But it's only a matter of time before he gets to you, like he does everything else. Well, I guess there's one way to keep you guys safe." As she extends her tendrils, tendies, towards Daksha and Leon. They start to panic, and Bro says, "I'll kill you." Bro, look at his face. He means that shit. Thorn says she's made her point, now leave them alone. Patchy starts to say, "Don't worry, Thorn." But she stops short and mutters to herself the name Roland, when a giant 3-headed patch bear comes strolling along. She tells him to settle down because everything will be alright. But I don't think this guy's listening because he roars and he absolutely launches her. She says, "This isn't you. Somehow that horrid creature got into your soul." And she tells all the other felt creatures to capture Roland. But he's kind of messing them up. Dorothy calls out to her and says, "Dude, let us help you. You've got to free us or he's going to kill us all." Patchy agrees and frees them. And we get this cool lineup of the Oz party. Patchy asks them not to kill him, but Thorn says he can't make any promises, but he will be stopped. As he and his children go on the offensive, Thorn tells Adraste to turn into something to hold him down, and she says, "Monkey!" She flies up behind him and puts him in a full Nelson situation. Dorothy says, "Leave it to me," and lights up Roland. Dang, bro, they gave him the radish treatment. That's kind of cold blood, I'm not gonna lie. And Roland falls to the ground. Patchy asks what happened to him and wraps him in her tendrils. She says she just doesn't understand. There's no gem on him, but the Shaggy Man still changed his very soul. She can feel his pain, his suffering. But don't despair. Now you will find peace. Dorothy starts to say that she's sorry, but they get ambushed by more worm creatures because he's here. Patchy says, "Bug, you must do what we discussed." As we see a tiny bug go over and climb into the Tin Man's armor, skin. I don't know what that is, but I'm choosing to say it's his flesh. Thorn says they must fight for their lives and jumps into the action. But then they hear a voice say, "Ah, the family bond. There's nothing stronger. A father and children standing together with their allies, trying to take down a seemingly unbeatable foe. I wish I could freeze this moment." Oh, Cecilia, I can. But you're all looking so uncomfortable. Why don't you guys put your arms to your sides? And when he says that, they all do. Turns out they all are under the Shaggy Man's control. They just didn't know it. And Dorothy says she can't believe they almost trusted this guy. The Shaggy Man says, "Trust is a two-way street, Dorothy. If only you held up your end and disposed of this villainous creature." but unfortunately, I had to insert myself. Patchy starts to threaten him and he says, "You'll do nothing! I gave you the opportunity to be by my side and you spurned me." Oof, bro, pipe down with the incel talk. Anyway, he controls her caterpillars to bind her. He says, "Oh, all you want to be is left alone. Well, I found a way to manipulate you. And when you see what I have planned, you'll thank me." We then cut to several hours later, and they're leaving the triangular hole. The Shaggy Man says he should apologize to them because he hasn't been forthcoming. He says he knows about Dorothy's exploit when she was in Oz, but they've met before. They met back in Kansas, right before they were both brought here. And funny enough, they were dropped just a few miles away from each other, except she got to become a celebrity, and he got to be a slave. While he's evil monologuing, Dorothy asks Thorny if he can move anything, and he's like, no. Which, yeah, you knew that? She wondered what Patchy's deal is. Why isn't she fighting back even though he's not controlling her? Then she recognizes the look on her face. Pure hopelessness. Dorothy says, "So, we're neighbors. Let me go and we can celebrate." He says, "Oh, we'll celebrate soon, but not yet." "Oh, hey, look, we're here." The Scarecrow asks what it is, and the Shaggy Man says, "What a great question. At first it was just a normal portal, but when manipulated in a particular way, it can be a portal back to Earth. But I'm not ready to leave just yet. First, you're gonna help me. We're gonna return to the Emerald City and bring it to its knees. And this one's gonna make more patchwork creatures for me, and we'll finally return to Earth, where we can carve a new society in our image, and that is where we will find true freedom. And Nick, my brave Tin Man, I need you by my side." The others tell him to fight his control, but it doesn't work, because when the Shaggy Man asks him if he'll join him, he bows before him. And he says, "Yes, stand, my little servant. You will lead my armies. Together we will smite all of our enemies. Everyone that ever treated us like a servant, as a vagrant, as less than, we will destroy them all!" Bro, calm down. Well, the Tin Man feels the same way because he's like, "Yo, shut up!" and cuts my guy's hand off. Then a laser shoots and breaks his control crystal, and Dorothy says, "You can't control us anymore." The Shaggy Man says, "I don't understand. How can you betray me? No!" Ah! Patchy says that's enough. And if you're wondering how the Tin Man was freed from mind control, turns out that buck that we saw earlier crawling on him, they took the stone out. It was pretty simple. And the Patchwork Girl says, "Your days of enslaving are over, and I'm not gonna kill you. On the contrary, I will free you." But Dorothy protects him and blasts her away. Dorothy says she needs to let him go so that he can face justice in the Emerald City. And Patchy says she doesn't take orders from nobody. Dorothy says, "Look, I don't want to hurt you, and we really do appreciate you helping us save Nick, but we really need to." "You're welcome," and then immediately wraps them all in her tendies. Then she magically transports them back to Oz, and then they all realize that they're back. And Tin Man gets his first line ever in this storyline, and it's fucking indeed. Scarecrow says, "Well, I guess it's kind of been worse." Yeah, this was her being nice. But it's not over, is it? No, not for a long shot. But let's just savor the moment, okay? As we leave the Oz party one last time in this storyline. But don't worry, the story isn't over yet. And neither is the Shaggy Man. Because when we cut back to them, Patchy sends out her tendrils and wraps them around him. And then she lights him up. And when he fully transformed, he's like, "I'm free!" And both hands are back. They hold hands and skip to the Patchwork World. And she says, "Come, and let's restore paradise. And make the whole world as perfect as this." But then something strange started to happen. They hear a strange loud sound and they see a red tornado tearing through the wall. And the Patchwork Girl says, "It's incredible." The Shaggy Man asks if they should run, but Patchy says, "No, it's here for me." He asks what she means and she says, when she was almost killed, a red tornado pulled her out from the sea and brought her to Oz. And when she was in prison, it set her free. And when Dorothy ripped her into pieces, it put her back together again. And now it comes again. And she's ready to serve, and she welcomes her creator. But the mysterious man says, "My dear, I did not create you, nor did I bring you here, but I will take you to the one who did." And that is where the issue ends. And I gotta say, I'm kind of sad that it's over. I had a lot of fun reading this, and I think I'm gonna miss Dorothy and the gang. I'm kind of like attached to these characters now because I was like reading for them. I wouldn't say voice acting, but I tried. So hopefully they release a new storyline with these characters soon. But don't worry, because I got a brand new storyline for you guys next week. So make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content. If you guys want me to cover any other comic book stories, let me know down in the comments below. But that's all I got for you today. I'll see you guys in the next one. And make sure you tell your family that you love them. Bye-bye now.